and then you leave. People get this idea of a church is a building. They have this idea that church is something to make you feel good. Sadly, those people would be wrong. A church is you guys. A church isn't coming and listening to people like me. A church is not coming and listening to the music. A church is the people. People like me come and go through this building. But you guys are still here. So, what is a church? A church is a relationship. A church is showing love. A church is being there for the person right next to you. A church is being there for the person across the pew. A church is a person that is way over here that you've never talked to before. Developing a relationship with somebody that you have no idea who they are. Not caring about their past. Not caring about who they are or what they've done in their lives. But just reaching out to them and showing something more than judgment. It's sad to hear that most of the time when a church is brought up to anybody, somebody right away says something about how angry they are about the church. Oh, they're a bunch of hypocrites. They're a bunch of judgmental jerks. They're just people who, they come and they sit in the pews, but yeah, they do the exact same thing I do. They sin. All sin's equal. Why is that? You ever think about that? Why is that? Why is it when people think about people like you, people like me, they instantly feel guilty, they instantly feel judged, they instantly get angry? Because that's what the world does. They get angry at things they don't understand, right? It's our first emotion, our first reaction to get angry at something, because it's easy to get angry at something. Isn't that true? Somebody cuts you off while you're driving. Traffic's taking really, really a long time. I know you guys feel it because that traffic's over here. It takes ever. You do not want to leave around 12 and 4 o'clock, trust me. You don't get anywhere. Think about that. Why is that? Why do we get instantly angry at these things? My second point is we are all connected. Now there's a reason why I brought this up, because you are. Regardless of your views, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've done, everybody in this entire church body right now, you're all connected, regardless if you talk to somebody or not. Regardless if you sit in the pew and you walk away, you're still connected. Now growing up, I grew up in the church. I was a rough kid, to be honest. I got in a lot of fights. I was in and out of the cop station because I got accused of a lot of things. When I was in junior high, I was a horrible kid. I remember very distinctly every time I go home, or every time my mom comes and tells me, or comes talk to me when I'm at church, she always says, "Oh yeah, this person said, I remember when you were a little kid, you were horrible." And literally, you would see this. And I remember this as a child, as me and my brother would be goof off and stuff like that. Just some elderly ladies would be in their crutches and be running away. They'd just be I'm like, "I'll see you later," as we're going spazzing and stuff like that. But I was a horrible kid. I didn't know God. I was one of the kids who were still 12 bringing toys to church just because I was so bored. You know what changed that? The people in the church. I had friends who kept me encouraged when I was down. I had people who built me up when I was just hit the ground pretty much. Who encouraged me to be better. Not by judging me, not by saying, "Oh, you're a horrible person, you should probably change," but by just showing a little bit of love and a little bit of encouragement. That's how I changed. And that's where I am today. And that's how I am the person I am today. It's because people like you, People that care enough to be there for somebody else. People to love. People that are loved. It's so amazing to me to see you guys out there. And I grew up in a church of like 60 to 70. Kind of small. You guys are huge compared to that. You pretty much do it 3 times over, 4 times, 5 times probably. We were a struggling little church when I was younger. You have so much to give. You have a lot to give. Now, the next point talks about the church about me. A lot of people have this idea of, well, church didn't work out for me. Did you ever think about that? Church doesn't have the music I like played. The preacher isn't exciting enough. The preacher isn't traditional enough. We don't play enough hymns. The heat is way too hot. I'm way too hot. I'm way too cold. Some person didn't shake my hand. The preacher didn't come up and talk to me. You ever heard yourself say that? I have. I've said that. Many times. But if you're going to be in a church, you don't leave because of the music. You don't stop coming because of the preacher. Both those change. But the reason most people leave in a church is because nobody reached out to them. Because they did not have any friendships in the church, why would somebody stay? Think about that. That is what a church is about. Developing relationships with each other. Helping somebody else out. Regardless how busy you are. I know you're busy. You have kids. That's busy enough. I have a dog and 2 cats and I'm going crazy. My dog poops everywhere and my cat just meow. It's just like, kids, they talk back. It's like, I have no idea what you guys are going through. Thank goodness for me right now. I'm going to count that blessing. But you guys have a blessing yourself. It is your kids. Because you get to see them grow. You get to see them live. And some of you that don't have kids, you get to see each other grow in your relationships. And if you are younger, you get to see your friends grow. And you have the opportunity to tell them about God. You have the opportunity to live for something much greater than yourself. So take out this whole church about me idea. Develop relationships with each other. Talk to somebody today, hopefully, after the service, to somebody that you haven't talked to before. Or haven't talked to in a while, or you held a grudge against. I know there's drama in this church that happens with any group of people. Try to consolidate that. Try to bring those type of people together. Stop negating the negative things and start accepting love. Start being there for people that you don't like as much. You find out it's probably something you like about them. Develop a relationship with them. There are reasons why you're here. There are people that you could touch that I couldn't even get close to. There are people who you know outside of a church that need to understand who God really is. Think about that. Think about those people right now. I know some of you had instantly pop in the head like, oh, this person needs to know. And just don't sit there and think about it. Actually do something about it. Because that is what love is about. That is what being a Christian is about. Now, I can talk all day about how, how we could be better, how, you could do this, we get a lot of that in church, like, oh, what could you do better in your Christian life? I'll tell you why. My next point is God thinks you're a treasure. Imagine this, if you will. Imagine Jesus walking through a marketplace. And he gets stopped at a jewelry stand. I don't know, I can't say it well. At a place with a lot of pretty pieces. How does that work? And he picks up this pearl. And he rubs it off a little bit and he looks at it. It's flawless. It's just beautiful pearl. And he asks the sales associate guy here, and he's like, how much does this cost? And he's like, Jesus, you don't want that. That's way too expensive. You do not want that. It's way too much for you. He's like, no, I really kind of like it. It really fits me, I think. How much is it? No, really, how much is it? And again, he's like, Jesus, you do not want this. This is way too much. You don't deserve this price. You don't need it. You don't need it at all. Just don't do it, Jesus. Jesus is like, no, I think I really want this. How much does it cost? And the jeweler says to him, everything. It costs everything. Jesus smiles. And he says, I'll take it. And he walks away. That treasure is you guys. That perfect pearl is you. And he gave everything for you. A lot of people have this idea of just saying, oh, Jesus died, he saved my sins, a very generic thing. But do you ever really look at it and say, Jesus died for you? He died. Nails pierced through his wrists. Flogged to where you couldn't even see if he was a man or not. Bones showing. But do we ever look at that anymore? Do we ever think back to what he did when we go on our day-to-day lives? Kind of emotional. I cry a little bit. Sorry. But he died. He didn't die for you to be selfish. He didn't die for you just to come to church every Sunday and do nothing for him outside of it. He didn't die just for you to come and complain. He died so you could show his love. He makes it grow if you plant that seed.